my thoughts on Bullrunnners today. Because like I said in the past, I think I like them as a group. I think that they're probably really talented day traders and they're already, multimillionaires and stuff. But they posted like a video today that kind of annoyed me, and I don't think it's because they're bad people. I don't think they're trying to do wrong by XRP community, but I just also want to cover and address. And I wanted to do this video landscape, but we'll get through it. But like, if you look on their channel, like every single one of their videos, like when you're scrolling through their page, is like, wait, why can't I? Oh my god. Every single picture is like this weird, like kind of like, like shocked look, FUD, like wanting to look like concerned, like clickbait titles. Super clickbait. And I just realized that today because that video they made earlier kind of annoyed me. And yeah, so the video they made today, that was kind of funny. And they do a ton of videos about XRP. I think it's because it's one of the most clickbaity titles you can do. And they're just trying to make money. They're trying to bring in revenue to their channel. They're trying to bring in like, views so that they can sell their products. They want to sell you yield a little bit too soon, I think. They want to sell you their day trading programs and stuff. So there's nothing wrong with running a business and stuff, but like today's video, he even changed the title. He changed it from earlier it said, Ripple XRP, I finally need to tell you the truth about XRP. Like, you need to know the truth or something like that. And he changed the title the day later. Like, I just realized this because I went to go find it again. He changed the title to Should You Sell Everything? Ripple XRP. So very, very interesting that he changed the name. Maybe like the video wasn't performing enough, because I know if you get like too much FUD in your title, it like, it doesn't get any clicks. But I wanted to go through this video with you guys because one of my favorite parts about it is that he brings up, now mind you, this guy has done tons of successful deep dive videos and stuff, and he's done tons of videos where I was like, oh cool, interesting thoughts. But this video here specifically, like he went and he referenced Yahoo Finance like right off the bat, which I thought was really kind of fucking hilarious. I'm like, are you that desperate for content right now? Like, nothing against him, like trust me, like nothing against him, just like, are you that desperate for content right now? He's already a multi-millionaire. He doesn't need to do this. So kind of why make this video, I guess. But I wanted to go through these things because this video drove me nuts today.
Research team just published a full XRP report, and I promise it's going to change the way that you see XRP forever, because everyone who's read it so far has changed their entire perspective. Some parts validate the exact thesis that you bought XRP for, the future of the banks, payment rails playing out in real time, but the other parts name every fear that you've buried when you check the chart and it's red. Again, it puts hard numbers on why the JP Morgan headline didn't move your portfolio, why the ETF launch didn't save you the way people said it would. It explains why the partnerships, the integrations, all of it hasn't shown up on the chart yet, and why it feels like every time Ripple wins, it doesn't help XRP. Now, most videos you'll find on YouTube will either scream that XRP is about to moon next week or that it's completely dead and going to zero, because that's what gets clicks. But in this video, I'm going to give you the truth, both the good and the brutal side of the equation, and walk you through this report myself, because right now Ripple is having...
He even just said like himself, like, they're either like maximum FUD videos or like XRP's gonna moon videos, because that's what gets clicks. And then when you go on his page, it's like 20 different like thumbnails of like people going like this, like, oh, XRP, like, oh, it finally happened.
In the biggest year the company has ever had, the partnerships, the integrations, the institutional deals, all stacking all at once. But even with all that good news, XRP is still down 70% from its all-time high a year ago. And the gap between those two things is exactly what this whole video exists to explain for you. So if you're feeling bullish still, even as the market bleeds out, like this video and smash the subscribe button if you're going to become the first millionaire in your family tree. I also want you to confirm it by commenting amen below. Also, we're teaching our top 2026 altcoin trading strategies to short the market as XRP goes down and long it when it goes up, so you can make money in any market conditions when you check out the first link in the description below. Let's run it. right, welcome back to the channel, Bullrunners. Let me start with the bull case because Ripple, the company, deserves credit. You know, I'm not going to skip that. Ripple Prime, which is Ripple's institutional prime brokerage arm, its entire job is to sit between the biggest banks in the world and the crypto rails they can't touch on their own. And that business just tripled its revenue in a single year, which now puts them at over $3 trillion in annualized clearing volume. Now, that's not a small number in any world, and they got there through the largest acquisition in crypto history.
The largest acquisition in crypto history, and he somehow spins this into FUD.
So, Ripple went out and bought Hidden Road for $1.25 billion. Then they rebranded it to...
If you can hear people talking but can't understand them,
Ads.
watch this.
Best way to hear clearly again at 75.
Ripple Prime, and they use that platform to walk into every major bank on Wall Street. And now Ripple is reported to be worth around $50 billion. So it's a real company doing real business at institutional scale. That's undeniable. Then there's the ETFs, which is where it gets more interesting because XRP spot ETFs pulled in around $1.47 billion in inflows on an 8-week streak, while Bitcoin ETFs were bleeding during that exact same window. So
they know
somebody at the institutional level was quietly stacking XRP
or all of them.
The price was bleeding to the downside. Now, XRP went up around 8% just last week alone, and they stopped stacking right before that.
Charts are all pre-planned psyops.
Spike in the chart. And on May 6th, JP Morgan, MasterCard, and Ondo settled tokenized US treasuries on the XRP ledger. You know, real institutional adoption, real settlement, real money changing hands. So the bull case is definitely real. Ripple, the company, is winning big, but there's one sentence from a Yahoo Finance
Yahoo
article
Finance.
that changes how
That's
you
where I got all my news, guys.
all of this. And I want to read it to you word for word. Ripple Prime revenue tripled, and the company hit a $50 billion valuation in Q1 of 2026. But all of that revenue flows to Ripple equity holders, not XRP token.
Now, is he like Charles Hoskinson? Like, Charles Hoskinson brought up this point, like, months ago, that, like, because, like, Ripple's doing well as a company, and David Schwartz has come out and said that Ripple's #1 purpose is to, like, distribute XRP correctly. Whatever that means to you. To me, that means they're trying to make sure that the correct amount gets distributed to governments, the correct amount gets distributed to institutions that are in the know, and the correct amount gets distributed to Ripple themselves, being, you know, however much they want to have in order to lend out in the future as a multi-trillion-dollar corporation in the future. So it's like the fact that, like, you know, oh, Ripple's equity holders are the only ones that are going to do well based on the evaluation of Ripple at $50 billion, not even calculating the amount of XRP they have and how much XRP is worth. Like, it's Charles Hoskinson level FUD. Like, you can do better than that. And Yahoo Finance, like, the last person that I would want to reference, Yahoo Finance. So XRP holders didn't get a share in Ripple. We know that. We know that XRP is their North Star. We know that their whole model of Ripple is built around the XRP ledger and the XRP's price being a very high number. We know that.
Token holders, not XRP holders.
Not yet.
That's the sentence that sets up everything I'm about to walk you through in the rest of this video. Now let's talk about the bear case here, because if Ripple is winning, but the token itself isn't capturing that flow, we need to know exactly why. So my team pulled the actual on-chain data, and it's
On-chain
pretty
data.
brutal. I'm not gonna lie, over the last 30 days, the entire XRP ledger generated just $14,727 in chain fees. Not 14 million, $14,000 total. And every single dollar of that gets permanently burned, which means no validators get paid, no stakers get paid, no treasury gets paid, and no XRP holders get paid. It just...
That's not why we hold XRP. That is not why they built the XRP ledger. That is not why XRP was created. Like, it was created to be the global liquidity system. So no, they don't care if they get a percentage of transaction fees. So, like, this case here is that, like, oh, the transaction fees were, like, so cheap that no one made any money. That's not the point. Being cheap is the point, the whole point, the whole thing that makes XRP better than everything else.
disappears. So to put that in context, Hyperliquid, which has less than a quarter of XRP's market cap, generates the same $14,700 in about 15 minutes.
So generating fees, the same fees in 15 minutes as opposed to however long they said for XRP, that means it's that much more expensive. Like, why are institutions going to choose that when the XRP ledger is going to be so significantly cheaper when they power it on?
Not per day, every 15 minutes. Then there's the market cap to total value locked ratio, the TVL, which is basically the crypto version of a price to earnings ratio in the stock market. And every other major chain sits between 5 and 10x. Ethereum is at 5.4x, Solana is at 8.7x, Hyperliquid is at 9.9x, even Tron is at 6.6x. But the XRP ledger sits at 1,785x, which means the market is pricing a future that hasn't shown up on chain at all. And it's the same story.
I wonder why it hasn't shown up on chain yet. I wonder if it's worldwide non-disclosure agreements.
On decentralized exchange volume, which is basically the trading activity that actually happens on chain. And it matters because it shows you where the real usage lives. Solana clears $1.73 billion in DEX volume every 24 hours. Ethereum clears.
That's Solana trying their fucking hardest, by the way. XRP and Ripple haven't even turned the switch on.
About one.
Oh, ads. Boo. This is why we're not monetizing my channel.
Any shelter you want.
No one wants that game.
There's no turning back. It's up.
No one wants that
5
game.
billion. But the XRP ledger clears just $5 million.
So they're using the point that currently the XRP ledger is not being like significantly powered on right now and not being significantly utilized because all of the institutions and governments across the world know that it's not ready to use it yet. And if they start using it too soon, then they'll reveal their plan and ruin the whole plan. So no, they're not going to use it and they're not going to raise the price until they're ready, which I think is very soon.
Today, which is basically the same as a minor DEX on a chain most of you have never even heard of, or even just a.
So he's saying the amount of transactions on the XRP ledger right now are like similar to like an unheard of cryptocurrency. So knowing how big Ripple is and how big XRP is, and it's always been in the top 10, doesn't that seem a little odd to you? Doesn't that seem a little pre-planned and forced?
Single meme coin. And it gets worse when you look at XRP Ledger's total DeFi, total value locked, because it sits at about $42 million right now, which is down from almost $100 million at the peak in August of 2025. So nearly cut in half in under a year. Now, obviously, that's because
Everything in crypto has been cut in half.
the bear market, and some of you are probably thinking, XRP doesn't need to be a DeFi chain to be valuable. It's a monetary asset. Some people compare it to gold. Gold doesn't pay dividends either, and that's actually a fair argument there. But here's the honest response to it. Gold has 5,000 plus years of trust behind it, zero counterparty risk, and no single issuer sitting on billions more.
I guess they tried to move like $350 billion in gold, and it cost them like billions of dollars in Europe, and it took them like months. So XRP being like the new digital gold is like gonna completely eradicate all that problem. And XRP and Ripple have been around for 14 years now, and they have SEC clarity. So they are gaining the trust. No, they haven't been around for 5,000 years. No, it's not a rock. That's God's money, but it's trusted.
Or ounces of it. Ripple holds around 38 billion XRP in escrow, and
Ripple held $38 billion in escrow, but David Schwartz has come out and said openly that they can sell the escrow behind the scenes. So based on things that I've looked up, I think that half, if not most, of Ripple's escrow is already owned by other institutions and people that were given privy to the plan with the non-disclosure agreements all across the world.
they've been liquidating it to fund their own operation,
So the terms there he used, liquidating, like that, see, I don't dislike this guy. A lot of his videos are good and interesting, but using the term liquidating their assets, when I am liquidating my assets, I'm like panic selling everything. Like, oh my God, fuck, we need money like to stay alive. Oh my God, we're dying. We need to liquidate our assets. Like clearance, fire sale. Just because Ripple sells some XRP on a monthly basis to help fund the building of the foundations of their business and the global infrastructure does not mean they are liquidating XRP.
acquisitions. That's not a monetary asset dynamic. That's a company drawing down its treasury to fund its acquisitions. And that's actually the answer to the question this whole video is built around. Because if Ripple is winning this much, why isn't it helping XRP right now on the price chart?
Because the price chart is a pre-planned fucking psyop designed by cartoon bears.
Here's the honest answer. Ripple isn't just sitting on that XRP to create demand for the token, because they've also been selling pieces of it to fund their own growth. When XRP was created back in 2012, all 100 billion tokens were minted at once, not minted out over time like Bitcoin, all 100 billion in one shot. Then in 2017, Ripple locked 55 billion of them into a programmed escrow and started releasing through the smart contract up to 1 billion per month, every single month ever since, which means today around 38 billion XRP is still sitting in that escrow at current prices. That's over $46 billion in scheduled supply overhead. Now, to be fair to Ripple, most of what gets released each month actually gets re-escrowed instead of sold. They don't sell all of it. And when Ripple does sell, it's through OTC blocks to institutional buyers, not just direct market dumps on the open market. It'd be stupid of them to do that. So the mechanism is real, but it's also less disruptive than the headline suggests, because Ripple isn't just going to destroy their project like that. But every acquisition Ripple has made was also funded by XRP sales. Hidden Road at 1.25 billion, Medico at 250 million, all of the ecosystem grants, every
Huge acquisitions, by the way.
dollar of it came from selling XRP in escrow into the market at some point, which means Ripple is using their own token as a treasury to fund Ripple, not to pump XRP.
Was he just trying to claim right there that there was ever a point in time in which Ripple holding 40 billion XRP was to pump the price? I mean,
That's the honest answer to why the wins keep happening for the company and the price is staying where it is for the token. Now, it's not the sole reason the price is staying where it is. There's macro market conditions that we need to discuss.
the macro market conditions are all part of the pre-controlled psyop and the pre-planned crypto charts that have been designed by Bearable Guy. And it's all, they have, whatever chart you've seen and whatever chart you're going to see over the next years has already been planned. So is macro market conditions are inserted at different points in time by Trump and other people so that the chart makes sense.
So keep watching. But you can actually see this play out with Ripple's own.
And I kind of think Bullrunner's this guy, I think he kind of knows all that. I don't know why he's choosing to make videos like this now, so close to the end when there's all that paid FUD on X and all this other stuff. They're coming out like now and just like making all these like FUD videos and stuff.
Stablecoin.
It was a gift. I resented it for 3 weeks. Then I filled the bowl with
bet
water,
you did.
dropped the grapes in, and I wasn't ready for that.
You weren't.
I watched my daughter eat half a bowl of grapes this morning before I used it. Just rinse.
RLUSD.
What's
For
that?
18 months, the majority of RLUSD supply sat on Ethereum.
So 82% of RLUSD sits on Ethereum. Now remember, if you want your coin to thrive and your stable coin to thrive and your ledger to thrive, and you knew your product was better, faster, and more scalable, what would you do if you were going to take over the entire world, financial infrastructure? Would you just immediately throw it on yours and let people decide for themselves and like figure out whether they like it or not? Or would you put it on the known and one of the biggest and slowest Ethereum chains on the planet and let people see how slow and expensive and shitty it can be and glitchy, and then let them compare Ethereum versus XRP for RLUSD before you finally launch it? Also, you're not gonna just slap everything 100% on the XRP ledger on RLUSD until you're ready to power the system on.
Instead of the XRP ledger, which is Ripple's own product. And they still put more of it on someone else's chain. But that just flipped a couple weeks ago. It's now 53% on the XRP ledger versus 46% on Ethereum. And that number is likely to change by the time that you watch this video. But let's be honest about what that actually is and what that means. It's a few percentage points. It's not some massive shift there. Ripple did.
So if they don't immediately put everything on the XRP ledger, it's just done.
Even pick their own coin for a year and a half, and now they barely do. So if the company winning doesn't move,
53% is not barely.
the token, what it actually does. One of the most simplistic answers is simply just market cycles and liquidity, because my team pulled up every major XRP move in the last 8 years, and what they found is a pattern that repeats.
You're not going to be able to predict the largest financial event of all time in the history of the fucking world based on the previous 15 years of crypto cycles. They made it very cyclical and made crypto very cyclical on purpose to the day. Bull runs and bear runs. They made it very predictable for a reason, so that they could send it at an unpredictable time, so that people like this, who are too smart for their own good, end up not being 100% in position.
Every single cycle. Back in 2017, XRP
People like this, who are very talented at day trading, are going to miss some of it simply because they think that they're going to be able to call it. They think they're going to be able to read the charts and call it.
ran over 6,500% in about 32 weeks, which was absolutely insane. But then it gave 70% back mid-cycle and bled for
So did all the other cryptos.
9 straight months. Then came the January 2018 peak, another 1,250% in just 4 weeks, followed by a 94% drawdown that took 9 months to
Sounds like crypto.
find the bottom. And after that, XRP spent 3 straight years going sideways between 15 cents and 60 cents.
They didn't
Then
need
in
it powered
April
on yet.
of 2021, XRP ran another 1,300% in 6 weeks. Then it dropped 85% and consolidated for 18 months. Then the July
So did every other
2023
crypto.
SEC ruling pump, another 104% in 2 weeks, and another 52% drawdown right after that news, which brings us to the current cycle. From November 2024 into the July 2025 peak, XRP ran 630%. Then it dropped 67%, and it's still bleeding today. 11
Like
straight
all their
months of it.
cryptos.
And here's the part that really stings the holders. Against Bitcoin, XRP is still down 92% from where it was back in 2018. Meaning, if you just held Bitcoin this whole time instead of XRP, if you bought XRP at the peak then, you'd be sitting on way more money today. You know, that's 8
Bitcoin for a long time was a better play. Don't get me wrong. Like for a lot of different periods of time, if you were trading XRP and Bitcoin, Bitcoin at different points in time would have outperformed XRP significantly. There's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't mean it wasn't always a distraction, and at the end, the financial system, when they power it on, is going to be XRP. That's the whole point of me making these videos. It doesn't mean people didn't do well in Ethereum. It doesn't mean people didn't do well in Solana. It doesn't mean people didn't do well in Bitcoin. It just means that, look, we see the writing on the wall as clear as day. Like, this shit's gonna happen. They're gonna let 98% of cryptos die, and XRP Ledger is gonna be on top. So prepare accordingly.
8 straight years of losing ground to the one coin that everyone measures against, and XRP holders think is going to zero. So the pattern in plain numbers is this, that you need to observe and you need to look at, not bury your head in the sand here. Every major
I don't know a single XRP holder, like a true one, who has their head buried in the sand. Seems like all other crypto holders on the planet have their head buried in the sand.
XRP move averages a 2 to 12 week pump window, followed by an 18 to 24 month bleed. And
That's how it's been in the past. That's how the cycles have been prepared. Those are what the cycles that they wanted you to think will continue forever. They want you to think that those cycles will always happen. So these day traders, think that we'll always be able to buy back in lower, and there will be another bear market. Once they power the system on, all of that will become moot. It will become a non-issue. It will become just the history of crypto. And then once they power the system on, everyone will get to see the full power of the XRP ledger and the price and all that stuff. Once they do that, all of those first 15, 16 years of crypto will just be erased from the history books.
consolidation after, which means the ratio is around 1 to 8. 1 week of pump, 8 weeks of bleed. And the report's exact words are hard to read, but they're honest. So far, XRP rewards traders and punishes long-term holders, which means
So far, that has been true.
you've done nothing wrong. You held, you bought the dips, you trusted the thesis of long-term holding, but this specific asset has a specific pattern, and the pattern doesn't reward the hold and pray model and
Until it does.
enhanced model. It rewards discipline and an exit plan and understanding how to trade market structure. Same entry, same coin, completely different outcome. Based only on whether you have a plan when you walk into your buy orders. So how does a serious operator in the markets actually hold XRP knowing all of this? Not with hope, but with a framework. You see, my team put together an example of how a good portfolio for this cycle could look. Bitcoin sits at about 25% because
Bitcoin's gonna die.
every serious portfolio needs an anchor. And Bitcoin is the crypto with the best track record so far.
The best track record so far, correct. But they intend to let it die. They're going to liquidate Bitcoin.
Then growth alts sit around 20%, which is where real assets with real on-chain activity live. So that could be coins like Near Protocol, maybe Zcash, maybe even Ondo. Then DeFi and stables about 25%, which is your yield engine, because that's the part of the portfolio that actually pays you while you wait for the next cycle to turn and while the market ranges sideways or even goes down. Then, for example, Hyperliquid at like 20%, which is my research team's highest conviction bet this next cycle.
Their highest conviction bet is Hyperliquid. I haven't done any research into Hyperliquid, but I know it's not the coin. I know it's not the one. I know it's not the whole reason crypto was created. So very interesting. Sure, it'll do well, but you've got to understand this type of portfolio is totally fine in a normal situation. If you are running a hedge fund, if you are like running other people's money, like this type of portfolio and playing it safe is a very good move unless you know their fucking plan. I have seen some shit in crypto and everything points towards XRP. Everything. Every single thing points towards XRP. So I don't want to have a fucking cheese wheel of random shit and Bitcoin when I could be all in on this move for XRP when it finally takes off, which is very soon. And this is not financial advice, but this all makes sense for very logical. In order to be a true XRP holder and to really ride this move, you are going to have to look a little bit insane. Your portfolio is going to have to look a little weird and lopsided. And if you really want to truly catch this once in a lifetime move, and if you knew it was a once in a lifetime move, I think your portfolio would look very different.
And then finally at XRP, like 10%, not as a core
10% of his portfolio in XRP. After all he knows kind of shocks me. And all the videos they make about XRP.
position, which at first I thought was crazy, but I actually think it makes sense. It's a tradable narrative sleeve that you actively manage while we're in a bear market right now. Now that'll change when we're in a bull run, but I want to read the exact line from the report because it's very important. XRP belongs in a portfolio as a narrative and sentiment trade, a trade that you manage, never a conviction hold that you just forget about. Now, whether you agree or disagree with that, none of this means XRP can't do well.
That is what they want you to think. Let me go over that again. XRP belongs, this is them saying this is why they're saying they only hold 10% in XRP. XRP belongs in a portfolio as a narrative and sentiment trade, not a fundamental one. That is what they want you to think. They want you to look at all the numbers and all the statistical data and all the little DEX, like numbers, volume, all this other stuff. And they want you to think, based on the chart, that XRP is never going to do anything. They want you to think that. And even somebody as smart as this guy, who's already made millions in crypto, he has come to this conclusion somehow, that he's advertising and selling to people. Like, it hurts me and it makes me want to pull my hair out. Because I'm like, I feel like he's seen the plan. I feel like he's seen, I don't know if maybe he doesn't want to believe it. In order to be an XRP holder, a true XRP holder, you have to be a little open-minded. You have to be able to deduce things from things that are not already there. You have to be able to deduce things, point two dots together, be like, oh, because Solana's partnered with Ripple and because this and this, because they're, everything, it's not what's written on Yahoo Finance as to why I hold XRP. It is everything that I pieced together from things that weren't even written. They were just hidden in plain sight and then they connect with other things. That is why I hold XRP.
To manage, never a conviction hold that you just forget about. Now, whether you agree or disagree with that, none of this means XRP can't do well long term. It absolutely can do well, and that's exactly why we keep covering it on the channel. I believe it's going to do well long term.
It's all they talk about on their channel.
It's the only coin that's remained in the top 10 out of all of the projects over the past decade. But every dollar
hidden in plain sight
is a dollar that isn't in a coin that's actually moving while XRP bleeds out. Look at Hyperliquid this last year. When XRP bled, Hyperliquid ran over 60%. So there are 4 questions that every XRP holder needs to answer honestly. Number one, what percentage of your portfolio is in XRP right
All of
now?
it.
If it's 100%, you need to evaluate that. Number two, what is your exit plan? At what price do you even take profits? At what price?
Why are we exiting the world's #1 financial asset on the entire fucking planet? Would you exit gold? No. Why on earth would you plan to exit the asset that's gonna lay golden eggs and will only ever go up? The rest of your fucking life, the rest of your motherfucking life, XRP will only ever go up. Why would you exit that?
Does the thesis look broken to you? Number three, are you waiting for it to come back above your average entry price?
So he thinks that XRP made those parabolic moves and then it's gone and charged up and coiled up for 9 months just to fucking go barely back above your entry price?
What opportunities are you missing while you hold and you just wait for another 1, 2, 3 years?
What opportunities are you missing if you pull out of XRP? What opportunities? What else are you going to be in right now? I mean, I get generating yield, 6% yield, 8% yield. What are you going to be missing by holding XRP right now when we're right at the fucking finish line?
And then number four, could you handle another 70 to 90% drawdown? Because
Yes, I could, because I feel like that would be very fast. And it's called the Phoenix coin for a reason.
based on the last 3 cycles, that's a real possibility that you need to be prepared for. And if you're not prepared for that because of ignorance, then the markets will always have a way to humble you. If you can answer those 4 questions,
All of the stuff he's saying is true, by the way, too. Like, you know, the most recent things that he just said. Like, there are very logical things to consider when you're investing in anything. But XRP is the most illogical, unrealistic, crazy event that's ever going to happen on the entire planet, pre-planned by the world's elites who own all the money in the entire fucking world, who want a digital ID system and social credit score. It is not logical. Nothing about XRP and Ripple is logical. I mean, some of it is, but I mean, most of it is insane. But if you look and you dive deep enough and you see everything written on the walls, it all becomes very, very apparent.
clearly, then you can hold XRP with real conviction. But if you can't answer them clearly, then you're not investing, you're just gambling and you're hoping here. And hope is the most expensive strategy in crypto that you can make.
I know what XRP is going to do. I know what it was designed to do. I know the prices it's going to achieve. It is not hope.
So here's the honest wrap up here. Ripple, the company, is winning, but XRP, the token, is a separate bet, which means the play was
They're connected at the hip. It's Ripple's North Star.
never to buy it and pray. It's to size it small, trade the pattern, and earn yield off your bag while you wait for the next window of the next bull run. It's simple to say.
That's how you're going to miss XRP. If you are playing with 10% of your portfolio in XRP and day trading and stuff like that, that's what they want you to be doing. When they turn XRP on, when they power the system on, when they instigate a supply shock, when they have a reverse carry trade unwind, and when they have all the institutions and DTCC power on, and they have start taking over Swift transactions, when all of that stuff powers on, they want you thinking like this. They want you thinking like traditional trader. They want you thinking like traditional logical people so that you will miss the world's largest financial event of ever on the planet.
But actually doing that, week after week on your own, that's where almost everyone falls apart and they make some mistakes. Because if you're like most holders, you already know the loop here. Your portfolio bleeds. You might panic a little bit emotionally. You could make a rush move, buying a retracement rally that just gets sold off to the downside, and that costs you. So the next time you freeze, you hesitate, you'll miss the window, and then you just sit there holding and hoping the next run finally makes you whole while your XRP drops even more. If you're down 50% or 60%,
this is going to be the final cycle for XRP. The final crypto cycle of XRP. Because I do not believe XRP is a cryptocurrency. It may be called that, but I think cryptography and blockchain ledger and digital ledgers were created for XRP. XRP, every other coin was a happenstance of the XRP ledger. So understanding that, no, there will not be another bear market. There will not be another bear cycle. And here's the point in his video where he starts to like advertise his products and stuff. So I'm going to go on and answer if there's any questions online. But like, got to be careful, guys, because the clickbaiting stuff and the FUD's getting really, really, really real. It's really, 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 really painful. Whoa, playing myself now. I hope you guys like my thumbnail. Have I seen Yudo's tweet? Why too many tabs? If that's too many tabs to you, you guys have not done enough research on XRP. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 tabs. That is like just getting started on tabs. I like my tabs to be that big. Raw Food Writer is in the house. How's it going, man? Destroying CPU. Your vid pic is hilarious. Yeah, I was just imitating all the like troll clickbaity posts. Everyone that takes an AI image of themselves and they're always like this, like they like that gets clicks. Like panic gets click. I don't get it. Like I'm just, maybe it works. It doesn't matter. It's just that's every single one of Bullrunner's pictures is just AI images just like this. I'm like, it gets old. Can we? I mean, I'm not a hopium bringer. I just speak truth. But like, I mean, can we stop? Can we have one video without clickbait? Maybe out of like 12, like have one video without clickbait? No. The answer is no. Not in the XRP community. A man dressed in sheep's wool can't be trusted. Is that an actual quote? Well, this is faux sheep wool, so you don't have to worry about that. Raw Food Writer smash the like. Spooky Jesus in the house. Bullrunners up the greatest glazers. She loves Urban. You're Spooky G's, professional glazers. Dre Perez. What do you think of XLM? I think XLM's good. XLM's going to be a fine play in the future. I just think that XRP is going to have a pre-planned forced move upwards first. And then XLM might follow. So, you know, play it however you will. Inner monologues in the house. Michael Demi 612. Bullrunners were telling me to buy at $2.11, said it would not go below $2. Interesting. Yeah, I think most people were thinking it would never go under $2 again. Like, everyone I followed said it was never going to go under $2 again. And so a lot of people played it that way, and a lot of us are underwater right now. Totally fine. Inner monologue, nice POV, brother. Liminal lands, this guy gotta be paid acting to FUD bait like this. It feels that way. It feels like he's getting paid to FUD recently. Just like on X, how there's a lot more people recently that seems like might be paid FUD. Like we've gotta be close. Like with how much FUD is out there, we gotta be close. Jojo, a lot of people saying tomorrow during World Cup. Yeah, a lot of people. White Wizard saying 18th to 19th would make sense based on the Riddlers. I guess today is like New Year's Eve for the Egyptian New Year. So if Bearable Guy, you know, which Mr. Poole has posted a lot of things about Egyptian pyramids. So like their New Year, the Bearable Guy post that said, have a very happy New Year. They were talking about this New Year, July 18th. They weren't talking about the United States January 1st New Year's. They were talking about the Egyptian New Year, which is today. So tomorrow you could very well see some shit. You could also see some shit because there's so much like number symbolism with like FIFA being the same numbers as like XRP, and then you got 10 and 19 playing against each other, and there's like some weird significance with 19 numbers and stuff like that. I mean, it's just insane, absolutely insane. So yeah, I would not be shocked if we saw price movement tomorrow at all. Or this whole week. Because Big Short, he wrote a post that said we're in the final week. And that was for like 7/18. So I mean, July 25th is like Cowboy Christmas. I mean, like all of the riddles are kind of coming together for the end of July here. And then there was also some riddlers that talked about how like, you know, July will be your last month to buy cheap XRP. So if July is your last month to buy cheap XRP, that means August is gonna be a higher price. So by August, it'll be a higher price. What do you think of XRP and crypto as a whole? So my personal belief is that XRP was the whole reason that crypto was created in the first place. XRP Ledger was the first blockchain, the first patented blockchain, and it was developed and created before they released Bitcoin. And then all of the other cryptocurrencies that you've seen since then have been a happenstance of the XRP ledger. So like essentially the CIA, the NSA, the one world government, the New World Order, the elitists, they wanted XRP to be a thing so that they could use it for digital ID, social credit scores, and all this other stuff, and to make themselves more wealthy and to power on the new financial system. And because of that, other copycats came out and started making their own blockchain ledgers and cryptocurrencies. And they always want you to think there's going to be like this massive multi-chain world. There might be like 10 to 20, maybe 50 blockchains that are used as a whole, but XRP will be number one and crown king. But they really want you to think that there's going to be like this multi-chain world and you should hold like 50 different or 100 different types of cryptos and utility tokens because, you know, that's the way to play it diversified. They really want you to think that. And then they're going to make that move on XRP and everyone's going to be left in the dust. I mean, even Bullrunnners, I mean, they're well established. They are good at trading. They're apparently good at making a yield product too, which is fine. I just think it's too early for that. You wouldn't want to have your XRP locked up in a yield product before the Great Reset, the financial reset, in case there's like cyber attacks, blackout, all this other bullshit. So yeah, I think crypto was created as a happenstance of the XRP ledger. Jojo, as Bitcoin ran from 15,000 to 100,000 during the World Cup. Oh, was that when it ran? Wow. Yeah, very, very interesting. SKCOS, Chris, fist bump. Michael, Demi, sounds good, dude. Hopium. Cheese wheel, yeah. God, yeah, the investment cheese wheel, which is fine under normal circumstances. Like, that's probably how most financial advisors would advise you to like set up your portfolio under normal circumstances. If you were not catching wind of a once-in-a-lifetime financial event of which they're going to change the entire financial system and you can gain greatly off that, exponentially off that, I think, yeah, I mean, a diversified portfolio makes sense. And even post-XRP price appreciation, diversifying a little bit makes sense. But I think XRP will always be the number one asset. I think it will always be, you know, a very high price and it will only ever go up. And so I don't think there's any reason to diversify from XRP, but I do think that once you have XRP and XRP takes off, then you can start investing into the cheese wheel for the rest of your life. Utility tokens and stuff. Spooky G's, Bullrunners make you feel like XRP is going to moon tomorrow morning or die, like in the same day. Like he made that video today and then his other guy posted a video today that was about how like Bitcoin and Ethereum were like the coins were like 98% of all the crypto volume runs across. And so hold the others, you know, sparingly. I mean, they're kind of all over the place just trying to get clicks to sell their products. And I get it, they have to stay alive, they have to run the business, but I mean, at what expense? You know, misleading people here, you know, it's really difficult. Consistency, I think, is a better business model if you're gonna run a business like that. Spooky G's, you need to evaluate that guy is actually clueless. He's done some good videos though. He's done some really cool deep dive videos about like Project Looking Glass, like Donald Trump and like Barron Trump and like from the book from the 1800s. He's done some really cool, because I mean like he's a millionaire. He's probably like mostly retired, so he can just like sit there and research stuff all day. And he puts together some really cool videos. That's why I was so disappointed today, because it seems like when I found out that the last 20 videos he's made has just been fun about XRP in a way. It's really just kind of a sad state of affairs. My YouTuber 01, the issue is when will it take place, after Clarity Act or carry trade? So I am in the personal belief that XRP's price takes off before the Clarity Act. And the reason I believe that is, Jake Claver aside, I believe that the New World Order elites, they always take advantage of a crisis. They always take advantage, like, you know, C19. They always take advantage of a crisis and try to implement a lot of their plan during the crisis. So being that we're on the verge of a liquidity crisis, I don't see any reason as to why they would skip this opportunity to take advantage of the fact that they have just enough legal clarity that in an emergency situation, they could power on XRP. All the countries and institutions across the world could start piling in XRP and using it as like a safe haven asset and like a strong liquidity barrier and something that they can trade and transact in like 3 to 5 seconds. And they can do that all before the Clarity Act is passed. Well, what advantage is that to Ripple if they send the price up before the Clarity Act? Right now, Ripple is in a position with XRP to where they have, like I said, just enough legal clarity that in a crisis they could power it on and send the price up and be used without any sort of negative side effects. And that would leave all other cryptos in the dust. And then while that's happening, they could let 98% of the other cryptos burn, and all that liquidity would move into the XRP ledger because everyone would be diving on this God candle from XRP, which is what I think is going to happen very soon. And all they have to do to trigger that is take BlackRock and Larry Fink and go to their basement and just say to the AI supercomputer that controls the charts, Aladdin, just say like, hey, power XRP up to $10. And then what they'll do is they'll just send the charts, and then there won't even have to be any announcements. There might be some announcements, but there won't even have to be any announcements, and XRP will just start running. And then after XRP starts running, then they can start coming out and making announcements left and right. You know, and they can time that right before the Japanese reverse carry trade unwinds, because they have complete control over when the reverse carry trade unwinds, because they're going to tell Trump to tell Japan, like, okay, Ripple's ready, you can go now. And SBI has been ready with XRP the entire time. Liminal lands, the crazy FUD just making me want to hold even more. Yeah, it's like more evidence that like we're onto something. Like they wouldn't be thrashing so much right now and like really just trying to shake out people in XRP if it was nothing burger. Like they're not doing that to Cardano. They're not doing that to Quant. They're not doing that to, they're not sending all these paid actors after like, you know, any other ledger, any other cryptocurrency. Like the FUD is why it's real. Hassan says, hi, I make custom thumbnails for YouTube. Oh, awesome. I also just made a custom thumbnail for YouTube. But I appreciate that you do that. Pascal's, do you think the reverse carry trade will unwind on this Monday? Things are getting more and more heating up. I think it would be absolute perfect timing. Now, does that mean it will happen because of that? No. But could it be better timing? No. So you've got right now, tomorrow, so many Riddler decodes coming up. You've got the whole world distracted by the FIFA World Cup. You've got the liquidity crisis in Japan. I mean, they can just call Japan and say, have your emergency meeting now, raise your interest rates, we're ready, Ripple's ready, and then go time. So yeah, it very well could be Monday. And this whole week could be the whole XRP Phoenix coin and reverse carry trade playing out. And so we'll see. Everything points to it, but there have been times in the past where certain things pointed towards certain weeks and nothing happened. So, you know, don't cry if it doesn't happen. But I mean, I've never felt like stronger that it's going to be end of July into August, and then only up from there. So very, very interesting times we live in. Riptide 1, do you think we'll see some price appreciation in 2026? Thanks in advance. 1,000,000%. 2026 is the year, and I know that 1,000%. Now, whether we start taking off at the end of June here or it happens in August, I mean, nobody knows for sure. We only have these things that we can point to and these conclusions we can draw based on the situations that they've built and the fuse that they lit in the reverse carry trade and all this other stuff. So taking everything into account, I see 2026 being massive for XRP. And it was somebody at Ripple said that they see Ripple at operating at a global scale, global adoption. So that means the whole world using XRP. That's what I mean. She's from her own mouth. Forget her name. Calypso Drip, cool name. Chris, didn't know you were a fellow Washingtonian, don't live there anymore, but I was born in Tacoma, raised in Gig Harbor, small world, love it. That's awesome. Yeah, Tacoma and Gig Harbor, Gig Harbor is a beautiful place. It's really far away, but Tacoma is like becoming even more beautiful every year. I feel like there's like really some good money coming into that city. So awesome. I also think that the high school from Tacoma is ancient Tartarian structure, which is really cool. Yeah, there's gonna be tons of get-togethers that we have in the XRP family once this takes off. Eli Torres is in the house. Good to see you. JB Life Training. Anyone here follow Crypto Phoenix? Yeah, I was actually just watching one of his videos before I made my video because people have been recommending that I watch his video. Now I happened to catch the one where he was talking about like how to protect and maintain your wealth, and so it was a little dry. But he's a really smart guy, so I was listening nonetheless. But yeah. Eli Torres, a lot of fun. Yep. Stephen Hay retracted his message. Michael Demney, do we need clarity? So XRP and the SEC lawsuit gave them just enough clarity to where in the case of a liquidity crisis, when institutions and countries all across the world are panicking and pulling money out of the markets and trying to redeem their money somehow so that they can pay back these loans and get themselves out of this negative, this loss from the Japanese reverse carry trade unwinding. So they will use XRP for that, and they will utilize that crisis, and they will not have any negative side effects of having used XRP because it has just enough clarity to where it's not like a rogue asset hanging out there in the Wild West. Like it's recognized by the SEC, it's recognized as the OCC as a commodity. So yes, they can use it right now if they want to. Now we were told by Jake Claver that we're waiting until July 18th. I think today is when they have to come out with their OCC regulations or whatever for stablecoins, and maybe that's going to help. But yeah, well, it's all so coming together so fast now. Mom gets money too. Good to see you. I know you covered cold wallets before, but just confirming it's Tangum and they are like $50 each, and we should buy one now. I know it's a physical key we keep in our home in case the digital glitches. Yes. So it is I don't have mine on me. It is a card that you can get a 2 or 3 pack, and you can go onto YouTube and look up like Tangum wallets, TANGEM, like you put there. And I watched a couple nerds talk about cold wallets for like an hour or two, and then I chose Tangum because it's like super simple to use, and they haven't been hacked in like 6 million wallets. So got a few Tangums, and so as price appreciates, I'll probably diversify into other wallets and stuff. But for now, I'm in Tangum. But yes, you should definitely have one because when you hold your crypto on an exchange, they can pull it back. Like if they need it during the liquidity crisis, when XRP's price is ripping and then like Tether unwinds and they need XRP for that liquidity, you might be up shit's creek without a paddle, and they'll just say, sorry, here's the current cash equivalent of XRP, we need this. And they have every right to do that technically, which is, sad, but I mean, yeah, you don't want to leave it on exchanges for just that reason alone. Eddie the Great, Bullrunner's main objective is to get more clients. They put fear and confusion so you feel safer handing over XRP. Very well said. I mean, that's a really simple gist of what they're doing, and it's sad, but it's also at the same time, they're trying to run a business. John's Journey is in the house. Good to see you. Brother Chris, best hopium on YouTube. And that's the funny thing is like, I am not even trying to be hopium. I'm trying to be real. I'm trying to be like, and hopium is not a bad thing. I'm just like, I try to, as clear as I can see it on the wall, I try to portray it to you. And so, I mean, if that's hopium, that's awesome, because I'm trying to help as many people across the finish line, because a lot of you have been in this space for a long time and you're damaged goods. Like, you are beat up. You look like Captain America at the end of Avengers Endgame, like you can barely stand, like it hurts to tighten your shield snapped in half that shouldn't even been able to be broken, and you're fighting Thanos, and I'm here at the end to just kind of like take out Thanos' ship and just kind of like help across the finish line, which is an awesome place to be. I love it. Andy Crazy GameStop, the Korean and Japanese stock market, Japanese stock market been going down, definitely a sign. Yeah, it's beginning. They can't control it. They can't hold it back anymore. And they've definitely done an admirable job of trying to buy themselves as much time as they can until Ripple is ready, but they can't hold on much longer. They're hanging on a cliff and they're on their last grip. The yen. Bullrunners and Levi are iffy to me. Yeah, Levi talks a lot of shit about Jake Claver, and that kind of makes me upset. I'm not out here trying to talk shit on anyone, but like there are some people in this space that do seem to like think that they know it all, and I could be seen that way as well. But I'm not out here trying to sell any products at the same time. So I mean, I try to be real. I try to say what I've seen, and I do feel like Levi, he's made money in crypto, and I think there was a period in time in which if you were into crypto, everyone made money. So for him to have made money during that period of time does not make him the end-all be-all and know anything. He just happened to have made money in crypto. So yeah, Levi is, take him with a grain of salt. Sometimes he makes some interesting videos, but I don't think he does very many deep dives. Monica Long was the name. Yes, thank you for writing that, because Monica Long was the one who said she sees full-scale adoption for XRP and Ripple this year. And she would know. They can say things like that. They just can't come out and say XRP is going to take off on this day and non-disclosure agreements. Spooky G's, once XRP moons, we'll all get together and have an XRP moon party. Yeah, 1000%. So we'll be able to afford to travel to meet each other. Liminal land, yes. Lucas DDD. Hey Chris, any thoughts on Jake Claver saying Clarity Act is unlikely to pass in 2026? So my thought on that is we don't need clarity for price of XRP to take off. So I believe, and this is just how I have theorized it based on like the research I've done and kind of knowing how the New World Order elites think and operate. I think that what they'll do is they'll likely not pass the Clarity Act during the traditional methods, and then they'll use XRP and power it on so that they can handle the liquidity crisis of the reverse carry trade. And then when that is all going on and the FOMO and the God candle comes for XRP, they will have like some sort of emergency situation into which they can kind of force Clarity Act across the line. And they'll just kind of sneak it across the line that way or attach it to another defense bill or something. And then that'll just add fuel to the fire. And the Clarity Act is also, in my opinion, designed to kill 98% of other cryptos. Like any crypto that's not utility driven, that's not a utility token, that's not designed for future transactions, I think is going to die after the Clarity Act gets passed. The Clarity Act, I also believe, tries to encourage people or push people into institutional custody so that, you know, it's less in your own control. So it's going to be very interesting times, but we'll play it one step at a time. Pascal, this whole Messi and Lamine Yamal thing is so crazy. It is so freaking crazy. The timing, the numbers, the lining up, it's just absolutely insane. So there's a lot of posts on X about it right now, and it's really fascinating. Mom gets money too. Chris, last question. You're always allowed more questions. Mom gets money. You're always allowed, and that's why I'm here. So as many questions as you want. You don't have to preface with last question because I want you to ask more questions. Chris, if no one asks questions, I'd be very bored on the lives. There are some lives I've done. I'm sitting there for like 6 minutes. There's like not a question. Like people are typing or like not there. And I'm just like, okay, well I guess I'll just stare at myself on the screen. So I like questions. Are you saying I take my XRP from Coinbase and put it on Tangum and they can't see it or get it? Or do I have it in Coinbase and Tangum in case Coinbase glitches? So you are taking, basically, I don't know if you've seen your wallet address on Coinbase. Each cold wallet that is distributed to the client, each cold wallet like a Tangum or other cold wallets, it will create and generate its own wallet, its own digital wallet. So you are metaphorically digitally transferring digital coins to your cold wallet. And so Coinbase doesn't have it at all anymore. So they are moving physical or digital XRP to your cold wallet. And then you have control of that, where it gets sent to, when it gets sold, all that. So on Coinbase, it sits there parked and they attach a memo to your XRP that they've allotted you, that you've purchased. So out of Coinbase's entire bag, let's say they have like, 10 billion XRP on Coinbase, and you have like, a few thousand XRP, there's a memo attached to yours. And in a liquidity crisis, if there's ever like a crisis where like they need XRP more than they think you do, they can say sorry and give you the cash equivalent and then take your XRP. And so not saying that that'll happen, it's something you don't want to be in a position of that happening ever. And so YouTube, like the nerds that talk about Tangum cold wallets and cold wallets in general, I chose Tangum because it's simple. I've helped plenty of, not saying that you're older, but I've helped plenty of older people figure it out. And I always recommend you transfer little bits at a time. Like transfer 10% of your XRP at a time, make sure it shows up there in your Tangum wallet. And sometimes it takes like a few minutes to show up in your Tangum wallet, and then just I completely swipe out of Tangum, completely swipe out of Coinbase, and then I log back into those, and then it appears, and after I've confirmed it appears, I'll send more. So I'm getting a little bit more ballsy with that lately, but that's how I would do it, just so you always make sure that it's making it to your wallet before you send more. Done working, 7/26, Galactic New Year. See another New Year, and then 7/25 is Christmas in July, so I mean, also Mr. Pool posted the finish line 6/27 reverses 7/26. Done working, bravo. Like, yeah, it's like this week is like everything points to it. So if nothing happens this week, I'm not gonna cry, but I'm gonna be a little shocked. I'll be like, that was too much shit going on for nothing to happen. Raw Food Rider, definitely wary but still standing. Bought more yesterday. Nice, very very nice. You guys do not need to be wary. This is a pre-planned event that the New World Order elites, the Rothschilds, the Vanguards, BlackRock, Larry Fink, they're all in on it. Elon Musk, they're all in on this plan. They all know the plan. They've all been told the plan. They all were participating in the plan. So a lot of things that we're waiting on are just announcements. And the reason that you feel wary is because they haven't done any of their announcements yet. And they're not going to do any of their announcements until they're ready to do all the announcements. And when they're ready to do all the announcements, God candle. So if you thought the DTCC pump for XLM was really cool, that was like a baby little shit pump, like a baby bunny taking a poop, like kind of pump compared to what XRP is gonna fucking do. Liminal land 725 to 726 seems promising. Yep. Also this weekend into Monday. Yep. Time will tell. Yep. And they've always said, you know, do not sell your XRP over the weekend. So it could be a weekend in which tomorrow they decide to send it. Riptide 1, good stuff. Just what we need to get us across the finish line. You got that Jake Claver vibe. I appreciate that. If Jake Claver went anorexic, he'd be me. So, I mean, take it with a grain of salt. I honestly love watching Jake Claver's channel. I've learned a lot from watching his channel, both in XRP and crypto, and also in how to appropriately read each and every comment, and not miss things and like correct yourself if you get things wrong and care. Not that I wouldn't have cared in the first place, but like that's probably why I give off a little bit of Jake Claver vibes, because I think he handles himself in a very professional way. Where I'm not 100% professional and I'm not running a business, so I don't care. But at the same time, I like to make sure everyone gets their question answered, and that's why I'm here. New moms in the house, good to see you. Hey, Chris in XRP chat. And I could almost use a second energy drink. Dear God, they did that in Europe. They went in people's accounts and just took money because the country was in crisis. They did that in Cyprus. Got it. RE cold wallet. Thank you. Yeah. So definitely make sure you start transferring your XRP into a cold wallet just so that you have control over it. And in the future, after price appreciates, you know, maybe like a few cold wallets, spread out a little bit. You know, if you want to throw, and this is not financial advice, this is not me giving a fuck about any institutional custody. If you want to throw 5 to 10% in iTrust Capital or like a Caleb and Brown, it might just be a good fail safe in case all your crypto wallets get melted by lava. It doesn't cost you anything, so it's food for thought. I mean, it's not the worst case scenario to have 10% of your crypto in, you know, institutional custody. Jay Briscoe, we'll get through the storm. Just keep buying. Love the vids. Thanks, man. That's really awesome. I haven't seen your name before, so I really like that you commented. It's good to see the new people on the channel, and it's good to see as the channel grows, who's on here, who's talking, who's with us. When people ask questions. Hopefully the live didn't freeze because I have an Amber Alert on my phone. So hopefully that can go away. Oh, maybe I can, okay. I clicked off the Amber Alert, hopefully that didn't freeze. I got an Amber Alert on my phone, and so I hope it didn't freeze. But I just wanted to say, if anyone's watching this channel and hasn't commented or asked questions before, don't be afraid to. I love every single person that asks questions, and it keeps the channel going. Liminal lands, I like White Wizard a lot. Can tell he puts a lot of effort into figuring out the moon date. Props to him. I feel like he almost puts the most effort into figuring out the moon date. Him and Not Financial Advice on X, notfinancialadvice.crypto, like those two guys, and then Marin D Codes has done so much research. So if you guys aren't following Marin D Codes, they're posting some really good shit in the past couple of days. And both, I will note this on that. I'm gonna leave it on a cliffhanger. I'm gonna grab more and more energy drink. Cliffhanger, but when you just talk a lot, like you need some water sometimes. Sorry about that. So, cliffhanger. Both separately, Marin D Codes on X and White Wizard on X mentioned that it could be tomorrow. Is there a there, as Jake Clever says? I would not be shocked if you see some shit tomorrow. I wouldn't be shocked. Now, does that mean it happens tomorrow? Of course not, but I wouldn't be shocked. Tomorrow of all days. And then this whole week is something to watch. I am from Cyprus. Many people lost their life savings in one day. Gosh, that is so sad. Life can be so brutal. This is going to be your once in a lifetime opportunity to get out of anything bad that's ever happened to you financially. XRP. I can't recommend any other coin, but I mean, there's obviously going to be like 10 other utility tokens that are used, but like, this is going to be your opportunity. And you are finally going, all the financial mistakes you ever made in your life are going to be undone in a matter of weeks when they decide to flip the switch. Andy Crazy GameStop, just audio problem, good, no freeze. Eddie the Great video on perseverance, well done. I appreciate that. So I made that video. You guys will actually like this. So my OGs will actually like this and think this is funny. So when I made that video about perseverance, the persevencia, I wrote notes on my journal. It was more notes than the Bitcoin versus XRP video that I did that was an hour and 10 minutes long. And when I made that video, because my brain didn't trigger off of other things that I wrote down as much as the other videos, like it ended up being 17 minutes long. And I was like, how anticlimactic. I was like, I just like spent days writing notes on this video about perseverance and it ends up being like 17 minutes. It was like, so I'm glad you liked it. I think so a lot of people related with it and vibed with it, but it was one of those videos where when I sent it, I uploaded it, I was almost just like, wow, I wonder if anyone will care I made that video. It was like really anticlimactic after I was done because I spent days writing notes on that. C-Main 50 had a crazy synchronicity where I set a lady up a phone account at work. Her number had 589985, damn. And her account number started with 222 at 222 o'clock. Wow. That's for you, man. So when God does stuff like that, crazy things lining up like that, that only you would notice, that's for you. That's God talking to you. I've learned that over the years. That is super cool. Oh, G-Main 50, this was on July 1st. G-Main 50, sorry, I gotta go back and see what was on July 1st. Not sure if I know what's on July 1st. Oh, I don't know if you can elaborate on that. Oh, sorry, the comment's right above it. Yep, that's on July 1st, that's wild. Because July 1st was also May 1st, and they said that, you know, you'll always look back and remember the 1st of May. Probably not gonna drink all this energy drink, but it sounded yummy. Can't wait to start a family, Spooky G's. My whole life is on hold right now, bro. Yeah, I will say this, Spooky G's. Like, I had to wait till I was 26 to find my wife, and then God just sent her to me. So, not saying that's gonna happen for you, but like, every single day my wife proves to be more and more the one that was meant for me. And every single day with her, I can feel joy and have 2 beautiful children. So, I mean, it's worth the wait. Even if you have to wait like another 5 years, it's worth the wait, and you will forget all the waiting you did. Just like XRP, you're gonna forget all the waiting you had to endure when it finally happens, and you finally got like the visible money in your accounts, and you will be able to see your portfolio, as Common Sense Crypto says, look like phone numbers. And you're just gonna ride this wave, so you will not remember all this pain you're going through. It's kind of like when you have a baby. Like when we had 2 kids, during the early months of the baby phase is really difficult. You don't sleep much, you're constantly woken up, like you're constantly trying to work and like take care of a baby and stuff like that. But you don't remember those moments. You don't remember all the harsh moments. Your brain has a natural tendency to remember all the good things. And so all this pain and drama you've been through holding XRP for however many years, you will not remember that in any significant amount. Liminal lands, I find it funny. I'm going to turn 22 on August 1st, and sum of letters in my full name is 13. Wow. So that is 13, and then 22 is also FIFA and XRP. That is absolutely fascinating. Sorry, I just thought I heard something outside, so I just jogged away like a little bitch. I jogged kind of like a little bunny. Spooky G's, thanks new mom, God bless you. Spooky, praying for you, yeah. And prayer helps a lot. I am not great at praying, and my prayer life could be way stronger, but man, there is something to it, like when you do pray, and just let go and let God. Spooky G's baby phase. I'm a long ways away from that. Step one, I get her back. They might be shocked. Second, you guys, you know, get back together. You could be months before you know, start deciding you need to have a baby. I mean, when she's ready, like, they're ready. Like, I mean, when my wife wanted a baby, it was like, when they get baby fever, it's over. So you might not be that far away from baby phase, bro. You might be months away from baby phase. User LS5, Spooky G's, you will be prepared more than most. Keep that PMA, bro. Gmain50, I wonder what's gonna happen to BG and XRP community after price appreciation. I've wondered that too. I have a feeling, and this may or may not happen, I hope it happens. I have a feeling that after price takes off on XRP, this channel will continue to grow and build as a community of XRP holders. And it already feels like a family. Like, I mean, I can't wait until we do like live events and until we have like, you know, like we can use the Discord server more. Like we haven't done that to a grand scale yet. And am I even in right now? I guess I'm online on the Discord server. And there's a really funny picture of Donald Trump peeing in the wind and hitting his face. I'm pro Trump for the most part, but I mean, I love sense of humor. So, I mean, that was pretty awesome. And who posted that? Spooky G's posted that. So, yeah, of course there's Spooky G's because there's a fucking maple leaf on the fan. Love you guys, man. So, yeah, I think that this channel will continue to grow. And it will grow into something that we can use to bounce ideas off of each other post-price appreciation. But who knows, a lot of the channels might disappear because they're going to be multimillionaires. What do they need a channel for? New mom. Spooky, I finally found love at 38. Congratulations. Married at 39. Girl at 43. Congratulations. I'm 46 now and feel like I'm 30. That's awesome. Yeah, age is just a number. You've got so much time to get the life you want. I believe you'll have it. New mom is like the best vibes on this channel. She was like really holding us down and keeping us grounded. That is awesome. Lucas DDD11, that perseverance video was really helpful. I'm glad. I feel lucky it was. I mean, this week was pretty rough with all these YouTube channels saying shit about XRP and X channels. X channels are talking shit about XRP all over the place. We are in peak FUD. We are in the final shakeout. And so there's 2 comments now to confirm. People liked the perseverance video, even though I wasn't even sure I liked it after I was done with it, because I was like, I literally wrote 3 pages of notes for that video. That, and this took me days, 3 days. I was writing down different notes. And then it ended up being a 17-minute video. I was like, well, hope that helps somebody, because it was so anticlimactic. I'm glad it helped though. John's journey. My friends with kids look like 10 years older than me. Doesn't seem like an easy job. It's not an easy job, but I will say it's likely the most rewarding thing that you can do. And there's tons of people that don't want to have kids and don't have kids, totally fine. But I think it's the most rewarding thing that you can do. One of the most. One wicked division. If Swift modernizes its own system, does XRP lose its biggest opportunity? No. So that is definitely one of the top, you know, theories as to like something that will take XRP out, is that like Swift is going to come out with some sort of blockchain that can compete, and then like they won't need XRP. Well, it's the other way around. XRP doesn't need Swift. If I can right now take XRP and send it to China in 3 to 5 seconds for a very low fee, why would institutions need to add a messaging system around that? Like, it completely nullifies. It's like, I've wanted to do a video of like that scene from The Office, and I'll probably play that here, or sorry, Office Space, because it's like, once XRP goes live and they power it on, it's like, what do we need that guy over there Swift for, sending messages? Like, we just transferred it, so we don't need any messages going anywhere. Office Space, what is Yeah, what? It's one of the top searches. What would you say you do here? Okay, yeah. We can watch this. So this is what I think of Swift. So imagine these two guys are XRP and Ripple, and the guy they're interviewing is Swift.
This is the Tempur-Pedic Breeze mattress.
After the ad.
And it's designed to help you feel cool.
What you do in Initech is you take the specifications from
Ripple
the customers
and XRP.
and you bring them down to the software engineers.
Yes.
Swift.
That's right.
Well, then I just have to ask, why couldn't the customers just take them directly to the software people, huh?
Well, I'll tell you why. Because engineers are not good at dealing with customers.
So you physically take the specs from the customer?
Well, no, my secretary does that, or they're faxed.
So then you must physically bring them to the software people.
Well, no. Yeah, I mean, sometimes.
What would you say you do here?
Well, look, I already told you. I deal with the goddamn customers so that...
That's what I think of Swift after XRP takes off. What is it that you'd say you do here, Swift? Like, you just send messages. We're doing all the settlement and transactions. So what is it you'd say you do here? I wanted to make a video like that, but there it is. Where was I? Oh yeah, new mom, John's journey, I believe it. Cool. Moo Cow is in the house. Yes. Gmain 50. I've been learning Japanese. Awesome. My wife speaks Japanese. I gotta go show my respects and travel to Japan after they help pump us to the moon. That's awesome. Maybe we should go together because I want to go to Japan so freaking bad. Spooky G's, thank you all for comforting me. My second family, you guys are all of you. Yeah, this is... I already believe that XRP Army is its own family. So anyone in the XRP Army that understands what we're going through, what we've been through, what we hold, how different we are. We're not normal investors. We've seen some shit and we feel a certain way and we feel something coming, and like, so it's like, we are not like the other crypto communities. And I'm not downplaying the other crypto communities. I'm just saying, like, I feel like XRP Army is one giant family, and in my community, it has been confirmed to me that XRP is like one giant family. This is really, really cool. Moo Cow, what's your opinion on XLM? So I think XLM will be one of the top contenders after XRP takes off. I think it'll be up there with like XDC, HBAR, you know, Quant, some others, Flare, FLR. So it's gonna be used in their multi-chain world of like 50 coins, but XRP will still be the king, and XLM will probably be like top 5. Excuse me. John's journey, they definitely did great job in boring us out. I feel it's not gonna happen ever, but I can't sell because I waited for 6 years. Yeah, and you shouldn't sell. Like, the worst time in the world to sell would be right now, because you're literally inches from the finish line, and then all that 6 years would have been wasted. And I would cry for you. Liminal lands, Bearable Guy has a meme, Swift either working with Ripple and using XRP or working with R3 and using XRP, leaving Swift no choice but to use it. Yeah. Because like I've said in some of my previous videos, once they create the new instant settlement layer, XRP, that can be powered on by price and handle global transactions, all of them. And like DTCC mentioned, they like made a post and they said like one blockchain can't handle, you know, all of DTCC. Well, that's true today, but after they send the price of XRP to $1,000 plus, it'll be peanuts. So they'll have like drops from each XRP, like 1 million drops or however many drops they do from each XRP, and they'll be able to transact with each of those. Common Sense Crypto talks a lot about payment channels and how they can transfer stuff instantly all day and then settle later at the end of the day on XRP. I mean, XRP has infinite use case, infinite usability. So yeah, today, there is not one blockchain ledger that can handle all of DTCC. But what they mean by that is not yet, because they have the non-disclosure agreement, they know the plan, and so they know that once XRP's price will take off, and it's just all part of the FUD that they've added to the final shakeout, where Ripple has gone around and told people like, you know, hey, we'll tell you the plan, but don't tell anyone else. And if you can, try to, you know, make people think that it'll be a multi-chain world and XRP is just one of them. Like, that's the vibe they give, even though it's completely not the case. Andy Crazy GameStop, Office Space is awesome movie. It is. It's always good vibes. Spooky G's. Chris, did you see the photo I posted on the Discord of Donald Trump? That was, yeah, that was amazing. That one is, oh, and then there's the one with work with Ripple and XRP, or R3 and XRP, yeah. Donald Trump with the P and the V is so funny. Like, it's such a good cartoon. One Wicked Division, LOL, that's great example. That's how I think of it. That's what I see Swift as. Because yeah, until XRP is powered on, they're still going to use Swift. But once they power XRP on, and all these institutions will be like, wait, we can transact in 3 to 5 seconds. Like, why do we need them? Though I think the only reason Swift will survive is because they have all those business relationships and all those counterparties. So yeah, like they might use them, but just settle across XRP ledger because it'll be a no-brainer. When XRP is $1 a coin, it is illogical to calculate using it for anything. But if XRP is $1,000 a coin, it becomes the obvious choice for the world. Institutions, countries, it becomes the obvious fucking choice. Chris, oh yeah, skip that one. One Wicked Division, why XRP instead of Stellar, Hedera, XDC, or even Ethereum-based tokenization? So, One Wicked Division, if you watch some of my other videos, if you watch some of my other videos, I talk about how I am in the firm belief, after all the research I've done, that XRP was the whole reason that blockchain ledgers even exist. So it was the New World Order elites plan, the Rothschilds, Vanguards, BlackRock, and Elon Musk. It was the elites plan to create the XRP ledger, and as a happenstance, because they hid the ledger in plain sight and used it and built it, as a happenstance of that, other copycats came out over the years, and there's thousands and thousands and thousands of copycats. XLM is a copycat, HBAR is a copycat, and they all have different use cases and variable things that they can be used for, and some of them have cool technology and stuff like that, but they're all a happenstance of the main plan, which is XRP Ledger, to be used as the global one world reserve currency. So that's why, but the other chains will have a purpose as well, just not as significant, and I think at a later time. Liminal Lands, Gmain 50, I think the other ones need Clarity Act. Gmain 50, it's funny you say this because I went to Japan this week already to pay respects. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, Japan is freaking dope. I'm just gonna check on something. Okay, sorry, I keep thinking I'm hearing something outside. Gmain 50, you gotta go through some deep soul searching and rabbit holes to be an XRP maxi. Yeah, I think I was an XRP maxi in the first month or two, because I kind of got the gist that it was the technology they were going to use for the one world reserve currency. And then what's crazy is, like, with some things in life, the more research you do, you're not sure, you know, it could be this, could be that. The more research I did, the more it just became like apparent that it was XRP. And so now when everyone talks shit about XRP, this and that, and they're like, oh, it can't do this, it can't go to this price and all this other stuff, I'm just like, they're all right for now. They're all correct today. But once these things happen and those pre-planned events start to play out, they're wrong instantaneously. And when they're wrong, they're going to be really wrong. One Wicked Division, I'm right here with you, John, and the XRP Army. Lucas DDD, would be cool if you make a video showing some of the things you've seen that made you so confident in XRP. Definitely. I could definitely do some like concise videos about certain topics. But what it really comes down to is it's like, I listened to thousands of hours of videos and I researched and read as much as I could, and I basically downloaded it all. And so when I make these lives and when I make my videos, it subconsciously just spews out. So it's hard to just choose like one topic, and I've tried to like choose like certain topics and certain things to cover. But I think that there's so much to it that the gist of my videos is that it all points to XRP, no matter where you look. you can look anywhere and they're talking about one blockchain ledger or this or that, and it's like it's all conclusive XRP ledger. And so to talk about and name any one thing as to a reason as to why, you know, XRP, I'm so convicted, it's very hard to do, because, you know, I could make 100 different videos of 100 different topics of things, and it probably might eventually do that, but we're running out of time. And so it's like the most important point is just to get across that, like, no matter where you look, you're going to come up from that understanding that it's more things pointing to XRP ledger. But it's, I mean, I would love to make more videos. The FUD, Chris, the FUD is strong. Yeah, the FUD is strong, and there's a reason for that. The teal backgrounds from DTCC website is all hex codes that start with 589. Yeah, the color code is 589. Yep, 1000%. Sir Bolakis. What's up, Chris? Hey, how's it going? I hope I didn't screw up your name. Sir Bolakis. Good to have you. Moo Cow, how do I get onto the Discord? I will add that to the video link. Voice channels. Hold on here, I gotta remember how to do that. Let me see if I can. Voice channels, text channel, general chat, invite. Invite to channel. Copy. Okay, so I'll add that here. No one's online on it right now, but we are trying to get to the point where we see. Okay, so now the Discord server, group Discord server, is in the description. So save. Okay, I just remembered my thumbnail I made for this video. It looks ridiculous. It's hilarious. That's what like every single XRP channel looks like, though. They all like panic like that, as if like they're ever like. I'm never like. None of the research I ever did made me go like ever. None of it. That's really funny that that's what everyone does, because it's so not even. You know, I can't even get back to my YouTube. I'm so bad at YouTube, guys. It would blow your mind. Okay, I think I. Oh my lord. All right. View channel. Live. Okay, and I'm back. Okay. That thumbnail is so troll. Okay. Live. Oops. Gotta pause myself. Okay. What's your Discord? Do you have it pinned on your YouTube? So yeah, I just added it to the description there. See here. Chris, Rodney Rose is in the house, guys. Good to see you. Always good to see you, Rodney. Chris, when we all get together, we should all have XRP tattooed on the bottom of our toes to get in one last bit of pay. Yeah. Yeah, in order to enter the XRP group event, you'll have to be like pricked with a needle, just to like, you know, prove you can take it. To prove you're worthy. True XRP holders can be pricked with needles for thousands of days and keep going. Keep holding. Raw Food Writer, awesome shirt. Oh yeah, so my niece knows that I hold crypto, and they all think that it's fake money, fake internet money. So they got me this t-shirt as a joke, and I think it's hilarious because it's true. One Wicked Division, thank you for the explanations. Awesome. Hassan, what is the most important thing that made you super confident about XRP? I've been asked that question before. It's a tough one. Let me put it this way. The thing that has made me most confident about XRP, I'll do one version of like a real life event and one version of like something that's like personal that happened to me that made me believe in XRP even more. For one, I saw Ito Farina post that Ripple Communications came out in the 90s. And the CEO was Brad Garlinghouse, and it was a government branch. So I had already known that it was a CIA NSA project and that David Schwartz is likely Satoshi. I'd already known all that. I already knew that there was a whole bunch of psyop and stuff like that involved in creating the XRP ledger and the charts being like crazy and shit volatile. I had known all that. But then when I saw that document that showed that Ripple Labs, Ripple Communications was a verifiable government branch in the 90s, and that Brad Garlinghouse was the CEO and is still the CEO, and they just converted that into a public company or a private company that, like, you know, has been integrating themselves into the entire world. I mean, it's, like I said, it's much bigger than the government, this project. This is a multi-decade long project with New World Elite money, and BlackRock and Larry Fink can't talk about XRP Elon Musk gets nervous when you talk to him about XRP, and he doesn't get nervous when you talk to him about anything. So, I mean, all those things are like, you know, real life events that I've seen where it was like, you know, that is very, 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 very telling. There's a personal story that made me more convicted about XRP. I have a friend from church years ago, and my dad, it was my dad's friend, and he says, oh, he's like, I think that this, you know, my friend from church has convicted to like hold a bunch of Bitcoins. So you should call him and tell him about XRP, because I had already told my dad about XRP and he got him involved. And then so I called his friend from church and I said, hey, I just wanted to talk to you about like crypto. I heard you were stacking, and like I just wanted to like kind of tell you what my thoughts are about XRP. And he goes, oh, he goes, my wife felt from the Lord like over the last year or two that we should be stacking as much XRP as possible. It just like came to her. And so I called him, gave him confirmation, and he gave me confirmation. And then my mom had a friend from church, and my mom told her about XRP, and she told my mom, she says, well, I felt that I should, you know, hold XRP, and that God told me I should hold XRP. I don't know why or what it is, but she said, if you want me to hold some, you gotta send me somebody who knows how to get some and buy it and whatever. And then my mom called her a week later and helped her buy some XRP. I mean, it's just like stuff like that happens, and then you have Brandon Biggs coming out with, you know, these prophetic, you know, things about XRP, and so it's like you have all the real life stuff going on, you have all the spiritual stuff going on, and you have everything connecting and dialing up. It's all too much. It's too fucking much. It's everywhere, and no one can see it. No one can see it. I'm like insane. I'm the only one that can fucking see it. I am the only one. I mean, yeah, there's probably like a dozen of us, but like, I mean, like, I made this channel off the fact that no one else gets it. No one else can see it. No one has any fucking clue what XRP Ledger is about. No one has any clue that it's pre-planned. All these people are thinking like, you know, when moon, like, do we need Clarity Act, all this other stuff. I'm just like, no, it's gonna fucking happen because they're gonna make it happen. The same way they made C19 happen, they're gonna make XRP price on power go to the fucking moon, okay? The same people involved in creating C19 event and that whole debacle, the same people behind that are the same people that want this one world reserve currency and have created the XRP ledger over the period of decades and have planned for this event so that they can power it on, send the price up. That's why when people on X are spreading FUD, like, oh, the price will never go to this, price can't go to this, I'm just like, yes, in a logical sense, everything people say about XRP and why the price will never go past $10 is true, in a logical sense. But if there is a pre-planned event and liquidity crisis in which they need this system to power it on and to save the liquidity crisis in which they already have clarity, all this stuff going to play out, pre-planned events, powered by the New World Order, they're not going to fail. If you had as much money and power as they did, your plan wouldn't fail either, especially if you've been planning it for decades. So yes, the price will go up. Yes, it is their plan. And yes, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Oh, that's also one of the things that, you know, made me confident about XRP. Where was I? Lucas DDD, in the future, maybe talk about some conspiracy theories. That would be awesome. Yeah. And I am excited as the channel evolves to be able to talk more and branch out about other conspiracy theories and stuff. Like Sasquatch, interdimensional beings, UFOs, Antarctica, fallen angels, all the fun stuff. But the reason we're so XRP focused right now is because we're so close to the finish line. And my conviction level of the whole reason I created a YouTube channel was to help as many people across the finish line as possible. Where was I? Excuse me. G-Main, I'm sad I'll never get to see Scam's face when he wakes up and sees XRP pumping. I think he knows it's gonna go up. I think he knows it's gonna go up even significantly. Even like years ago, people have said that they heard him say on like a live with like another person that he holds thousands of XRP. And he also takes thousands of XRP from people betting and stuff like that because it was easy to bet against it till now. So yeah, he's got XRP. He knows it's gonna go up. Now, I think he was able to gain himself more by fudding it and being paid FUD and, you know, gambling against it until it happens. So I think he's gained himself some in that regard, but I think he knows. One Ricket Division, have you heard of the coin SP? I think they're going to pump and dump. I couldn't find it actually related to Elon Musk. I usually see that coin spammed in the comments as like a spam post, so it's probably not a real thing. Thank you for the Discord. Yep. Merle Label, Merle Abel. Sorry, I'm screwing up your name. They can't get it because they aren't spiritually connected. Yeah, that could be very well a big part of it for sure. They're brainwashed with the old system, yeah. And it's too unbelievable to think that this ass is gonna do this for them to understand that like, no, it's gonna happen, nothing to do with you. It's gonna happen because the most powerful people in the world want it to happen. So yeah, they definitely miss it for a lot of different reasons. Liminal lands, I totally understand, Chris. Genuinely, none of my family except my dad, none of my friends have zero fucking clue what's about to happen, and I deadass can't do much about it, practically alone on this. Yeah, that's the story for a lot of people, sadly. You have this knowledge, this thing that you want to share with people. You're like, if you just get some of these keys, they're like $1 a piece, it's the key to like a golden goose that's gonna lay golden eggs the rest of your life. Like just, I know this is gonna happen, just take my word for it, and they won't even buy. Like I had a best friend from like a month ago. We had a conversation for like half an hour, and I couldn't get him to even like buy like 100. Like he just bought a boat. Like he can't buy 100 XRP. He's like, oh, I'm okay missing out on that. I'm like, are you? Are you? You'll go crabbing and take your boat, but you're willing to miss out on this fucking insane opportunity I just explained to you? Like that I've done 9 months of research. It'd be one thing if I did like an hour of research and I was like, oh, here, maybe, this might happen. Like, you know, maybe you should get some. 9 months of my life is dedicated to this now. Thousands of hours. And I explained to him all the different reasons. I answered all his questions. And at the end, he just goes, oh, okay, I'm okay missing out on that. He's like, I missed out on Bitcoin. I'm like, that's your excuse for missing this? Because you missed out on Bitcoin? I missed out on a Bitcoin. I'm not going to miss this. Oh, where was I? Yeah, absolutely nothing. And no one can stop what's coming. That's 1,000% sure. Lucas DDD, yeah, I have some spiritual connection with XRP as well. It's weird. It's weird until you realize that everyone else in the community has it as well. Liminal lands, I also have my fair share of experiences. This year was an epiphany, yeah. Brian Weber's in the house, Reber. I, too, saw this a few years ago. It is so frustrating watching what I thought were very intelligent people completely lost in the sauce. Yeah, they either don't care or they think they're fine. And they think they're fine until they're not. And so this isn't all about just making money and getting wealthy. This is also about like protecting your family financially. Like it's about protecting your family. It's a defensive mechanism just as much as it is an asset that's gonna take off to the moon. Inner monologue, can't wait till we can all support our families and community. Yeah, that's gonna be freaking sweet. It's gonna feel surreal. Jojo, even if BlackRock came out with XRP ETF, price would still be manipulated. So Jojo, to answer that, they are manipulating the price for a reason. They're manipulating the price so that when they launch it, a lot of people will miss the move. But at some point in time of their choosing, the flip of the switch moment, I think, is when they just release the sell pressure. Because BlackRock and a lot of other market manipulators have been a big part of the price manipulation and selling, because they wanted, their jugular is exposed right now. Like the New World Order elites and their plan for the one world reserve currency, their jugular is exposed completely right now. You can just go up and get as many of the new financial system tokens as you want, and they can't do jack shit about it. They can't keep you from doing it. They can't stop you from doing it. So what's their alternative? Their alternative is to make the price look like it's going to die until it doesn't, and then they'll just full send it at some point so that you will miss it if you're not already in. If you didn't already know what you hold, if you didn't already know their plan, because they're so exposed right now, they're really trying to make people think that it's gonna die, and they make people think that there's another 6 months of bear market, and they're trying to make people think that the price will come back down again in the next bear market when there won't be another bear market for XRP, because it'll be a new powered on financial system, new powered on coin. It'll be very, very high price and only go up. And so that's why they want you out as well. So if BlackRock comes out with an ETF, I don't even think they'll need to come out with an ETF. I think that they can just come out and announce that BlackRock holds a certain amount of the escrow of Ripple, and countries hold certain amounts of escrow. And that alone will cause enough FOMO for people to be like, oh shit, this is actually real. And that's all it takes, is for people to think like, oh, this is happening and not want to miss out. Then you have FOMO in the charts, God candle. And then I think the 1,700 non-disclosure agreements, I think they all know the plan, they all know the day to go and buy more XRP and to go and pour money into XRP. And when that happens, you'll see God candle. Could be as soon as tomorrow. Spooky G's, LOL. Inner monologue, God bless all of you. Spooky G's, he would be able to buy 10 boats in 1 year. Yes, I don't get it. I'm like, I have so much conviction. I want to convince him to sell his boat and put it all in XRP. And I told him about this like 6 months ago, and he kind of got it then. He argued with me about it then, but then like, you know, here we are 6 months later, and instead of buying any XRP, he buys a boat. Like, It hurts. Lee Richmond, people cannot see what they aren't meant. It's good to have you. Good to see you, Lee Richmond. People cannot see what they aren't meant for. That's 100% true. I think it's a reason that certain people were chosen to hold this asset and certain people were not. And it's very, very apparent when you run into them. One Wicked Division. Where is the Discord you posted? I don't see it anywhere. It's in the description of the video. So like the live we're watching right now. If you go click on the description, the Discord link is right there. Oh, there you see it in the description. Moo Cow made it to the Discord. Nice. Yeah, the Discord actually has enough people in it now to where we can have an event. There's 37 people on there, so we can have an event where we can just all chat sometime. There are the chosen ones and the unchosen. That's the bottom line. Yeah, and as a chosen one, it makes you so desperate to get the unchosen ones to at least hold 100. And sometimes when we fail to even do that, it's like you feel like, oh, it's not my fault, but at least I told them that this is happening. Like I told my neighbors about it, and I don't even know if they're gonna get any. Made a specific point after months to go over there, and I sat down and explained it to them like 30 minutes. Like, this is what's gonna happen. This is why it's happening. Even if you hold 100, it's gonna be life-changing in the future. We'll see. I haven't wanted to bug them about it too much because, you know, they're our neighbors, but I really care about them. I don't get boat guy either, but this is literally 99.9% of people. It's bizarro for sure. I've had an insane success rate with getting people into XRP. Like, I'm at like a 75% success rate for people that I've told about XRP that I didn't know prior, actually buying XRP and having me help them get XRP. I think they see this panic in my eyes, and I'm just like, kind of like my thumbnail for this live. I'm just kind of like, you know, this is gonna happen soon. And just like, I just like, you know, and they see something's like happening, you know, whereas otherwise I was a normal person. And I think that they sense that sense of urgency and just kind of like panic. They're like, oh shit, like this is like actually like something. We should, you know, do something about it. Moo Cow, imagine what this community is going to be like once XRP takes off. LOL, going to be interesting. It's gonna be really cool. I'm not really super concerned how big the channel gets, but the bigger the channel gets, the more people that we can help across the finish line. That's all I care about. I don't care about monetizing it and making $20 a month. Brian Reber, after price appreciation, what's your thoughts for starting up a company or a new business? What's your dream startup, or just help others and retire? So I definitely want to help others, but I'm going to continue the business that I built for the last 10 years and just kind of expand its capabilities and really just make it thrive. And then that will employ other people too, which will be good for the economy, good for those people that are employed. And I really enjoy that business, so I will really enjoy that. I also think it's a really cool business model that I heard about recently from somebody else who I got into XRP. We were talking about it. And you buy like basically like a camper vacation property, and you can have like 30 different lots that you rent to people with like fifth wheel campers and like just big campers, and they kind of live in them. And then they pay you like $700 to $800 a month to like park there, and it's just cash flow. And then you can also park your own camper there. So that'd be a super cool business model for just cash flow. And then my dream startup business is actually to run like a really cool coffee shop filled with antiques. And so that's kind of a cool, I'm really into antiques. So it'd be really cool to have like a really cool coffee shop that's just really well thought out, overfunded, doesn't make much sense financially, but just like looks really cool, and a place to hang out with friends and family would be freaking amazing. And it'll employ people too. Brian Reber, love your vibrations, man. Not hitting on you. Hey, it's okay if you're hitting on me. It's a compliment. I'm a happily married man, but I always love a good compliment. But yeah, no, I appreciate it. Yeah, we're all good vibes on here, I think. And yeah, it's just I've been able to like channel my life through XRP and this YouTube channel because, no joke, like I said in my first Venture video, I've had a really difficult past 5 years. My business was on the come up, and then my business looked like a crypto chart for the last 5 years. There was some months were just like, man, this is too good to be true. And some months were like, man, we're barely making it or not making it. And so it's like, I've mastered what I do, but to scale it correctly I got over ambitious like a year and a half ago, and it just fucked me. So we're still like kind of recovering from that. We retreated a little bit, and I just had like this huge truck, and I'm like, okay, let's just like, you know, scale it up again. But I've kind of been able to like channel all that aside and just have my YouTube channel with my family here on XRP. It's been really nice. Spooky G's, plot twist, boat guy is a drug smuggling pirate that also fishes. He brings home fish. Merle Abel, I keep on screwing up your name. I have a friend who's like to buy guns. I've told him about XRP. I emphasize that I'll be able to drop $100,000 on guns as if it's pocket change within 1 to 3 years. He just still doesn't get it. That's super tough. Sounds like my boat guy. They just don't get it. They don't want to see it. They don't care to see it. If somebody came to me and explained to me for 10 minutes what I have explained to other people, I'd get it. I'd at least care to look into it myself, even if I didn't just immediately take their word for it. And I don't get it. Maybe I'm just an opportunist, I don't know. Moocow, can't wait to start an off-grid community to help out people that I'm able to once we hit the moon. That's super cool. And I will go visit that community because we'll need a vacation from normal life. Merle, some people are still delusional, thinking cash will always be king. I just laugh at them, yeah. I laugh at them, but I'm also sad for them. Like, I think I'm like more sad for the people that don't see this than I am like laughing at them. Like, it's both for sure, because you're like, especially when you see FUD on X, you just gotta laugh at it. But it's like, Spooky G's new character unlocked boat guy. Oh, so good. Moocow, you will be welcome, bro. Awesome. That sounds like a freaking awesome retreat place. I'll probably hang out for another 5 minutes, and I'm gonna get ready for my wife to get home with the kids. She's at her parents' house, and they were hanging out at the park today. So when they get back, I'll probably help put the kids to bed and stuff. But if anyone has any more questions for like the next 5-10 minutes, then I'll probably be hanging out. But yeah, thank you guys all for being part of the channel. I mean, this has been a wild experience. It went from like 6 months ago feeling convicted to make a YouTube video about all the things that I've seen and learned. Even back then I knew quite a bit. I'm just more certain now. I'm like, I went from being 1,010% sure to 1,010% sure. And 6 months ago when I made my first video, it was just XRP simply explained for beginners. It was like an hour-long video, and at the end I did like a 15-minute drawing of like XRP and stuff like that. And a few people have watched it since then, but I mean, it only got like 100 views like the first month. And so I just kind of like, okay, well, maybe that was me. And then like a few months later, I still felt this fire conviction to make YouTube content about XRP because I needed more people to see what I saw. And I always thought that I'd be helping new people, which I have to some degree, but like I really think that like God gave me this conviction to start the YouTube channel, to build this community, to help a lot of the chosen ones across the finish line that have just been dragged and beat up. And so that's what I feel like I'm here for now, and I love it. I love answering all the questions, and I love making videos and going on rants and letting people have it. I just love it. I have just started telling people I have nothing to gain by giving you this info except to keep you mooching off me in the future. Yeah, that's a good one-liner for XRP. That's very, very well said. I love that. Rat Jr., I have told so many people about XRP, but it's almost like telling them to join Amway or something. I was in Amway from the age of 19 to 21. And I did very, very well. I had like over 150 people in the first year and a half, and I loved it. I loved the vibe. But then like the guy above me, he started just talking shit to my group, and like overnight, like in a matter of a month, like half the people quit. And I was like depressed for like 5 years because I thought I was building something. I thought that was my future, and then God had a different plan for me. And then my wife came in when I was 26, and then she was able to make it so I could feel joy again. I could actually feel emotions again. And then we've been together for like 10 years now. We have 2 beautiful babies. We have like an awesome home. And now I'm XRP Army. So, I mean, you never know how life's going to play out. That's why Spooky G's, when you're talking about that girl you want to get back with, it's all going to work. And it's all going to be awesome. And you're going to have so many different sidetracks in your life that just you have no idea are coming your way. And you're going to love it. Moocow, enjoy the rest of your day from Australia, everyone. Oh, yeah, Australia. I was watching Crypto Phoenix's video today, talking about preserving your wealth and how the tax in Australia, capital gains tax, is like 47%. Yikes. Air and imagery. Where in the world are you? Louisiana there. I am in Washington. Washington, and my niece got me this cool thing, Western Washington uncle. That meant a lot to me. It was really cute. John's journey. I hope there will be an XRP community village with the chosen ones. There will be. You know there will be. Got Junior Nice. Mew Cow. Yeah, taxes fucked over here. But you'll be able to afford the taxes. The taxes are unfortunate, but I mean, just do the best you can to play that game. But you'll be able to at least afford the taxes. It's just very, very unfortunate. Spooky G's in Canada, capital gains tax is 50%. Geez, yeah, like hold my beer, Australia. Holy shit. That's Yeggsaroni. Yeah, I think in the US, from what I've heard, if you sell in the first 12 months, capital gains is like 35%. And then if you sell after 12 months, it's like 20 something percent. So more manageable. And then there's ways to like try to work around that as well. But yeah, that's what this channel is going to evolve into, is like, how do we get around this in Australia? How do we get out of this in Canada? How do we get around this tax in the United States? How do we, bouncing ideas off of each other and meeting up and having cool XRP parties and stuff. It's going to be really cool. Moo Cow, can't wait to have the problem of paying the tax. It will be a good problem. Yeah, there's far worse problems that you could have, that's for sure. We even have an exit the country tax. Man, they're really just all about fuck you in that country. That's so insane. I mean, I know that like in Washington and California, they're talking about having like an exit tax from the state because they want to trap you here with all their taxes. What if you put it on a cold wallet? Does it start over then? That's something that you'll have to look into. I've heard that. I don't think moving your cold wallet moving to a cold wallet is a taxable event because you're just transferring your asset to your own wallet. I don't think that's a taxable event because you're not selling any. But you should look it up for your area because every area is going to be different. Here in Chicago, we are the only ones with a crypto tax. Yeah, like, fuck this guy in particular. That's really funny. That's awesome. Yeah, this has been a fun live, guys. Honestly, the last couple of lives have been like a couple hours long, and it's strictly because, well, this one I was talking about Bullrunnners for the first half hour, but the lives are kind of getting a little longer because there's more people involved in the chat and more people involved in the asking questions and stuff, and so, yeah, I think in the future the lives will be couple hours long just because there's a lot of chatter and a lot of questions and a lot of things, which is awesome. This is the whole reason I do these. Like, if no one was asking questions, I probably wouldn't do lives anymore. Jojo, that's crazy. Chicago is like the city and you got a crypto tax. Yeah, that is wild. And then yeah, we have to do a Discord group server thing sometimes. A week or two ago, I was having people hop over to the Discord, and it was a really cool experience. But I think it should be separate from the YouTube live, because like the YouTube live, I like to answer everyone's questions and read all the comments, and that's kind of like the fun of the YouTube live. But if I'm in the Discord server talking to people in the Discord server, then it kind of takes away from the live, and I wasn't like answering questions. So like, yeah, we should schedule like a Discord server group night or something like that, and then everyone can hop on there. So we'll try to figure out how to do that. Love to see the community growing in these lives. Yeah, it's a really cool community. I think people are figuring it out. It's just a fun place to hang out and talk XRP. Chicago is like Gotham, and it's also a hopium container, a hopium, like a hopium pool in the middle of the desert. Chicago is like Gotham City, and you got a crypto tax. Yeah. Merle, they know when you bought it, then that's all they look at. Doesn't matter where you put it, cold wallet or whatever. Yeah, that's what I think. We should look it up a little bit more, but it definitely is what I think. Max Muscato, host a live event eventually. Yeah, we will definitely have live events. We'll all meet in like Kentucky or somewhere just really fucking random because we can afford to go there and just take over. Jojo, the CME is here and so is G Treasury. I wonder if that's the reason Illinois is the only place to be taxed. Interesting. Yeah, that's a very interesting theory. I think that if with any luck, we'll get rid of crypto gains tax in the United States. Mater, hey, good to see you. Do you think XRP will get 5% of DTCC this year? This is going to be a bold statement. I don't think they intend to power on the XRP ledger just to dick around and take 5% of the DTCC and Swift. I think they intend to power this bitch on, have one great financial reset, and take over everything. Anything to do financially, transactionally, XRP ledger. So it's a bold statement, I know, but I don't think the DTCC cares about tokenizing and running 5% 24/7. I think they want to go 24/7. I think it benefits them greatly, and I think that XRP will see full-scale adoption this year, like Monica Long says from Ripple. User Merle, thank you. Rodney Rose, Portugal has zero tax on crypto. That's cool. I'm not sure if you have to wait a year or not, but I heard it's zero tax. I might be hitting there. That's not a bad idea. That's probably a beautiful place. I'm in Kentucky. Are you in Kentucky for real? Because I just said Kentucky randomly because I think that's like a random, that's the first like random state I could think of. But that would be really fun to go meet up. Spooky G's, you ever been to Vancouver, British Columbia? I have. My dad's from there, and so we've been up there several times. I just hate the border. I had a job where I had to go into the border a lot, and I hated it. They're assholes. Skull Limit. I couldn't sleep last night because in thing to figure out if I believed XRP would go to 10,000 or if Bigfoot is a Nephilim, and I ended up believing XRP to 10,000 just a little more. You sound like somebody with a brain that just doesn't stop. Yeah. I think Bigfoot is a other dimensional being for sure. And they may have some sort of lineage from the genetic DNA of the Nephilim, but I think that the Nephilim were one in their own. But they could have a genetic similarity for sure. But yeah, Bigfoot is real. People that have encountered him in real life, horrified by running into him. I never want to run into one, but Washington is very Bigfoot prone, so fun stuff. John's journey. So you were to bet on the timing this week. If I were to bet on the timing, I'd say yeah, this week. If I was gonna bet like $100 on like when it's gonna take off, I'd say yeah, this week, the 18th through the 26th. But at the same time, it's like I don't want to be seen as like Jake Claver, where I'm like, trying to make something happen or trying to like, call something and just be so sure. I want everyone to know that I know just as much the time as you guys. I may have a little bit more info of stuff that I've heard over the last 9 months, just like doing my neurotic deep dives, to come to the conclusion that I just see a lot of stuff pointing towards July, and then it only goes up from there. So there's so many things, guys, and I have my own theory that I think that they wouldn't skip an opportunity to have a giant smokescreen over their plan, like the World Cup, FIFA, and I think that's a really great opportune time for them to like fulfill the plan of Price XRP leaving retail behind by having the #1 world event going on at the same time. So I see that as a great opportunity for them if they were gonna do it. XRP Dreb watching at work, Chris. Let's go. That's awesome. Inner monologue. We should all meet in Hawaii. Fingers crossed we go to the moon tomorrow and never look back. I'm right there with you. Like I don't even need it to happen this week. I just have a really, really strong feeling everything lines up for this week. It's insane. Everything. Spooky G's. I'm like 30 minutes away from Vancouver. That's crazy. I live close to it. That's awesome. We'll have to meet up sometime, Spooky. We'll have to meet up and talk about random Trump cartoons. Jojo, I think Jake was off by 1 year. I think this New Year Eve, we blast off. So I think that it's New Year's Eve, but not the New Year's Eve for the United States. July 18th tonight is New Year's Eve in Egypt. And then in like a week, there's another New Year's Eve that's like significant to the Masonic occult. So I think that that's another reason as to why this week is a very happy New Year's, how bearable guy, and they never use the traditional calendars or traditional countries like we do. They use their own calendars and their own Masonic occultist stuff. So I think that this week is very, 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 very likely. John's journey. Well, the World Cup final is in 20 hours. Maybe it happens at the same time. I want to say that's what I think. I want to say that. Era, the imagery. Do you follow Steve from the Facts by How to Hunt? I don't. Is that on YouTube? Let me see. YouTube. Steve from the Facts, How to Hunt. Facts by How to Hunt? Maybe I'm looking up the wrong thing. I don't follow him, but I'd love to know more about it. Rodney Rose, it's going to start after the football soccer game tomorrow. I think it could. Very well could. There's a lot pointing to it. Spooky G's, for sure when XRP moons, we'll definitely meet up and talk about political cartoons. Oh, I'm so excited. Because I'm only a few hours from Canadian border, so. Inner monologue, aren't we also in 2018 according to the Ethiopian calendar? I think BG123 mentioned 589, 2018 or something like that. Yeah, so Bearable Guy or Mr. Poole, forget which one, they mentioned it's the famous 589 plus end of 2018. So in the Ethiopian calendar, we are in 2018 right now. And so they have a 13-month calendar. And today we are in Hamle, which is the 12th month, in 2018. So, yeah, so we are already in the end of the year for 2018 in Ethiopia. And the Ethiopian New Year starts on September 11th. So you can probably see like the third phase of the XRP moon then. Because I think XRP has several moon phases of where it's going to like micro moon, then medium moon, then big moon. So yeah, and if you watch Marin Decodes, Marin Decodes does a really good job of talking about how the EOY may not mean end of year, even though it will be like a dual meaning. It will be the end of year 2018, but it also means the end of the y-axis on the charts, because the charts are all controlled and pre-planned by Variable Guy and his guys. The chart makers. So end of y-axis, we're getting to the end of the y-axis, so very soon the number just goes up. So it's like dual meaning. Jojo, don't get your hopes up, but be prepared. Yeah, like it's exciting to try to plan when moon, and it's exciting that all these things are coming together at once, and it could really, really, really fucking be this week. But it's something where it's like you don't want to be like, you know, a Jake Claver follower at the end of last year and get disappointed it only goes up like 30% or something like that. So you really want to play your cards right, understand that this very well could happen this week, and just don't move too fast in either direction. Just don't move too fast. Rodney Rose, you don't need to follow anybody to learn how to hunt. You get it in a tree with your buck knife, and a wild boar goes by, you jump on it. I'll remember that if I'm ever in the wild. I will remember that strategy. Liminal Lands, yep, end of year 2018, $589 plus, and this year's riddle is about being on the moon. Yep, it's so obvious. Inner monologue will be such a surreal feeling. Yeah, it won't feel real for like at least the first year. I keep on messing up your name. Maybe it's AI Rada Imagery. Steve channel is not about hunting anymore. Oh, okay. Jojo, same Ethiopia that had the Book of Enoch. Interesting. Yes. The same Ethiopia that has all of the Bible chapters still. So very, 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 very interesting. XRP is a global conglomerate craziness thing that is, it's global. It's everything to do with XRP is just absolutely global. I can't even imagine a $580 XRP. That's going to be a crazy amount of money. Yeah, but you know, at the same time, you'll have plenty of time to imagine what to do with it when it happens. I intend when XRP's price does its first mini moon, I intend to take like 5 days off from work and just spend it with the family and just go do something or go on a road trip or something like that, just because the last 9 months has been both difficult in business for myself and both difficult in, like, obviously, holding XRP and trying to hold as much as I can without losing my mind. Inner monologue. Crazy how much they subtly show what they are up to. I've noticed on Fox Business, the vids they post about clarity, they are starting to openly show Bitcoin and wink wink XRP in the thumbnails. Yeah, and I don't know if you guys remember at the beginning of the year when we had our first little pump of the year in XRP, it went from $1.80 something to $2.40. And they came on mainstream media and they said the top crypto trade of the year isn't actually Bitcoin, it's XRP. And so, like, imagine all the hype and fear of missing out that people are gonna have when they finally come out and announce everything. It's gonna be absolutely insane. Like, it'll look, in hindsight 2020, it'll look just like so obvious when they finally ignite the switch, and it'll make everyone else look so dumb for having missed it hiding in plain sight. And 589 is just the floor, by the way, spooky. There's a plus, yeah. And so it also has a 0.589 because Marion Decodes has done a very good job of finding out that it's the 0.589 Fibonacci level, and they're using sine waves to control the charts. So XRP is about to just fucking rip. Spooky G's, I also get baptized in the name of Jesus Christ at the end of the month. Awesome, praise God. Could be God is keeping the price down on purpose until Spooky gets baptized. I believe that God has had a big part in who holds XRP and why. And I think he chose a lot of you and a lot of us, like how they chose Captain America in the movie Captain America. Like, the scientist that had the power to give the superhuman juice to Captain America, he was looking for the guy that had like the best heart, was brave. He jumped on the grenade, remember? And he wasn't like buff already. He wasn't already wealthy, but they chose him because he had the heart for it. So I think God's chosen people that have the heart to hold XRP and see its value and know how important it is to be a holder. It is not just an honor to be an XRP holder and to be chosen. It is a huge responsibility. You are going to have to learn how to steward wealth. You're going to have to learn how to say no to people that really need your help sometimes. But if it's not the right thing and God doesn't lead you to help that person, you're going to have to say no even though you have the money. It's going to be a whole new journey to learn how to steward that wealth and make sure that it goes to the right causes. Liminal Lands, awesome, spooky. I'm an ex-Muslim considering Christianity. That's awesome to hear. That is really, really, really cool. Pray about it. Ask Jesus to reveal himself to you, and he will. Spooky G's, liminal, best decision you've ever made. That's awesome. Yeah, cool things are gonna happen on this channel, guys. Rick State Z New York, why haven't XRP, HBAR, XLM, Quant made new highs in 2 cycles? I think it's because they're really important tokens, and they're going to suppress the most important tokens to make you think that they're not ever going to do anything again, so that when they let them rip, it'll take most of the market by surprise. They know they can't shake all of you out, but they know that they're going to do a damn well good job of trying to shake you out of those coins before it happens. So that's why the last couple of cycles they've suppressed them to look like shit, so that when it does actually happen, you won't be hanging on anymore. Inner monologue, that's crazy, spooky. I've been trying to get baptized for the past 6 months, and then the baptized area was under construction last second. I wonder what will happen first, XRP Moon or XRP Army baptism. That's awesome. I'm a stay-at-home dad, little to no income, and willed my way to a nice bag. No excuses. You're right, we've been handpicked. That's awesome. That's a really cool story, JoJo. Yeah, you've got to be chosen. Spooky G's. I have also been trying to get baptized for the last 6 months. Till now, my time came. That's awesome. Yeah. Well, I'm going to hop off for tonight, guys. It was super fun hanging out. In the future, we'll be able to do more long lives like this because the channel is growing to a point to where it's actually worth it to do longer lives. But yeah, awesome hanging out with you guys tonight. Hopefully my video covering Bullrunnners helped. But yeah, the FUD's never been higher, and we've never been closer.